Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay? What's the second best? There's no second best. There's no second best crypto asset. There's a crypto asset. It's called Bitcoin, right? Right? There's no second best. Okay? It's not like Google and Facebook. It's not like Apple and Amazon. Yeah, we can debate Apple or Amazon. What's better? They both look like tech monopolies to me. They both look pretty good. On the other end, Bitcoin or no, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a crypto asset. This entire idea of like 60% dominance is bullshit, ridiculous, stupid, right? Like, it's stupid. It's not 60% dominant. It's like 96% or 95% dominant, right? And you compare it as a crypto asset to a like kind of proof of work crypto network, right?
I know that you can feel the pulse, and it's crypto's what you want. Look, fast to have in 6 to 12 months, can you imagine? That's just a sign of our passion to have PulseBitcoin be the attraction to switch to crypto, cause you all know the Pulse got your back from the get-go. One-to-one versions of the coin you need. PulseBitcoin runs that deep. You can feel the pulse. You can feel the pulse. I know that you can feel the pulse. 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 I know that you can feel the pulse. And it's crypto's what you want. I know it seems scary, and you've been so wary. And Bitcoin ain't cheap, but let the pulse speak. Gotta thank Gunther for the opportunity to bring you this pulse in your time of need. You can feel the pulse. You can feel the pulse. I know that you can.
And we are live once again. Welcome back to the live stream, Pulse Bitcoiners. Thanks for tuning in once again. This is our third episode of the Pulse Bitcoin Live, the official channel for the multi-token. Oh, do you know what? I'm muted. Oh, no, I'm not muted. I thought I'd mute guys. I think Lux muted me on VM. Yeah, welcome back. The multi-channel, yield-bearing, price-appreciating ecosystem. Today, we're talking about why we invest in a bear market. And as always, we're going to cover the week's news, some data, some charts, all stuff related to this crypto ecosystem. And as always, you can find all the information you need in the description below, such as links to the new Facebook group, the Telegram group, where there's a voice chat all the time. You got the new LinkedIn group and the Pulse Doge Instagram account. If you want to make a donation, you can. There's some links below too. Sean, do you want to give a update on the giveaway? I think we're
correct. Yeah. And yeah, thanks Ben, Luck, and Sammy for being here. I want to give an update. So the update on the giveaway for the 42 ASIC mining token to one lucky winner. So what happened is the YouTube was automatically deleting our links in our comments. So if you can go to the second, just make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Go to the last video, which is our second video, episode 2. Leave a comment with the hashtag PulseBitcoin to enter. And once we hit 500 subs, we'll go back to that stream and use an auto-generated comment selector to pick the winner. So just make sure you go to our second episode and write a comment. Make sure you're subscribed and hashtag PulseBitcoin.
Yeah, we just want to get those that sub number up to 500. And once we're there, we'll do that giveaway. Because I think it's really good. It's a really good outreach tool. We want to get on YouTube, and hopefully we inspire some other people as we start progressing in this ecosystem to get. Yeah, hopefully we'll have multiple streamers one day.
Yeah.
Hope so.
But yeah, Ben, how are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, thanks for joining us again, man. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Where do you guys want to start? I mean, we could go to some of the data here. Yeah, so if you're new to this ecosystem, you've got PulseBitcoin, which is the better Bitcoin on the Ethereum network. So there's no admin keys, it's trustless, and it's audited. And it's got some good news on the wallets this week. I think we got over 4% new PulseBitcoin wallets from now till last stream. So that's brings us to last time I checked about an hour ago, it was 5,205 wallets. So that's up 205 wallets. And we've just gone over 4 million PulseBitcoins now been mined, which is currently estimating halving around the 25th of April. So that's pretty good. We've got the amount of ASIC. Total supply is 20,600,000. And the amount mining of that is 19.8 million. So that's roughly 96.5% of the ASIC, which is locked in the mines mining. And the rest of it is liquid. The Pulse Doge total supply is now at 2.66 million. So that's after 56 million coins were burnt. So 56% of the coins were burnt and transformed for ASIC. So let's have a quick look at the ASIC chart this week. If you bear with me one second. Do you guys want to start with the macro, or do you want to go straight into the?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in the markets right now. We've had a big rally here recently. Dow Jones is up, big. Everything is up has made a, what looks to be like a bottom. Is it the ultimate bottom? I got a halfway decent crystal ball. 80% chance it is. I've said many times we didn't see a big blow off top because of Wall Street adoption. There's a good chance we're not going to see this capitulating bottom that we're all looking for, which is this, the equal percentage retracement back down. And if that happens, it's going to surprise everybody, and that's typically what bottoms do. Now, with that said, there's a handful of news that's coming out that might, create some kind of down move, to test the lows again, and to kind of like what happened during the COVID bottom. And there was this move, this short-term move down, and then all of a sudden we had this tremendous snap back, this V bottom. You've got, Fed now saying that government might default on debt. You got, in the June, we've kind of heard that before, but now it might actually happen. You've got now, and Richard called it in the past. Now maybe Nexo is going to go under. They got their offices raided during the week, but that was because of some like money laundering thing that they were being used for. Not necessarily that they were a part of it. It's just that money was going through their platform, their exchange. But if they get in trouble, or if someone else, you got this other Gemini and Genesis legal issues going on with DCG, which is a big thing. So we'll see kind of what happens. But, over the last month or two, the market has really absorbed a tremendous amount of negative energy, a tremendous amount of negative news. And we've seen a bottom formation that looks like this inverted head and shoulders that's coming into play now. And all I can say is we're here to talk about investing in the bear market. It's like, take your favorite investments. Don't try to time the market. Don't think you're better than the market. Just get in there and just DCA in whatever you can do, whenever you can do it. But don't look, don't be like a trader that you're not, and just get in there and just expect, that the next 2 or 3 years is going to be great, but you've got to position yourself. And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, you're right. We've got those negative externalities that could come in, but we did have some good news this week. Did we have the consumer price index numbers, which were slightly encouraging? I think they were not as bad as predicted. So that caused a nice little bump for us.
Yeah, I mean, if we see a pullback in interest rates, because of that, a lot can happen. I've kind of been saying it. A lot of people know I've been saying it. Look for the interest rates to kind of revert back to where they came from. And that could be a really good thing for the markets. It'll maybe push the Fed. The Fed has been very famous for having one position and then changing it. So their position is next year to lower interest rates. To raise interest rates by only 75 basis points. And the last time they raised by 50. So, if they stick to that, they'll probably do another 50 and then 25. But if all of a sudden we're getting some, economic news that might dictate, hey, they're done, which maybe there's an estimation that that's what's happening right now, why we got this big rally, that maybe they're not, maybe they're actually going to be done and they're really pivoting now. Yeah. Other than some kind of geopolitical or world event, like this is a bottom in my opinion.
Yeah, so we think it's a very good chance for bottom. Even if not, even if we do retrace a little bit, I think it's certainly encouraging, isn't it? So if we see here, Dow Jones has made a nice breakout of this downward channel. Let's have a look at the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq, okay, so it's still in its downward channel by the looks of it. But look at this bottom here. So this bottom that came back in September 2020, it looks like we tested that again, and now we've kind of done a further test, which is really strong. So it'd be nice to see what the Nasdaq does in the coming weeks. And then this one's really interesting. This is the total market cap. So this is everyone that's invested into crypto, right? And what's really nice here is we've actually broken out of that channel. So that's really cool. And again, we've had a nice touch off this bottom 3 times here, which is really bullish. So the market kind of said, right, we don't want to go lower. If we'd gone lower than 750, I think we'd be in real trouble there, And if you look at that, that was respected before the previous all-time high for the market cap. So it looks like we're coming there and using that as support, which is really encouraging. And I think a lot of people were looking at Bitcoin the whole time. And I think what we saw is with the total market cap going up, we also saw Ethereum kind of leading this charge. So if you look at Ethereum here, it was also in this downward channel, right? And look what happened here. It kind of had to make a decision. Again, it kind of touched here. Again, at this support level, kind of where we were before, almost at the highs of before, and we're just kind of around that period now. But it had to make a decision here what it was going to do. It was either going to break down or it was going to go up, right?
That's really bullish. That's really bullish channel right there if it breaks out of there.
It is. And if you look at that macro line that's been respected since March 2020, this is really bullish, I think. So that's really cool. It'll be nice now to look at targets and see if we can take out this previous high. Even if not, some people argue that could be a cup and bottom, albeit a bit messy. So you could come back down, test down here, and really go for a nice charge up to and try and make an attempt for the 2000 mark. Then you might come down again and then make another charge. So that's really potential bullish looking. Then Bitcoin tried to follow it, right? So Bitcoin was in this kind of downward wedge, and now we've seen it kind of break out this mini wedge within the wedge, and now it's making an attempt to go and test the top. So as you can see, Ethereum was really the one having to make this decision a lot sooner. So that's what led the charge, and I think that's what saw us kind of break out there. And if we look at the volatility index, so you can see here when it tends to go really high and crazy, that's usually bad. That's usually a bad sign. This was when the COVID crash happened, and we saw that massive, breakdown in the crypto market, and the volatility was really high. So we were kind of consolidating here, and I think if we'd broken out there, that would have been a bad sign. We touched it a few times, and in the last few months, it looks like we've kind of come down to the bottom of our range. So that was really good market conditions for that Ethereum.
Can you zoom into that just a little bit real quick?
Yeah.
So that's a down. That wick is that wicking down, and that closed on a low, right?
Yes.
So I'm willing. I would take a bet that it's going to break that trend that it's sitting on right here.
Mm-hmm.
If we see this bull market continue, now it might consolidate, it might back and fill back up just a little bit and fill some of that gap that it just made. But I think that's a signal that we might actually see a trend break here and the market go up. Yeah,
because we just made a lower low there, which is good.
If it goes down, the market goes up. So
yeah. Should we quickly cover what's gone on, and then we'll move off from the charts. Let's cover Pulse Doge. Let's turn the indicators back on. So we've got some bullish divergence there we saw before on the RSI, the price there. and it looks like the market like that. We're kind of on the continuing the uptrend with Pulse Doge. Obviously, a nice target would be $11, taking out that previous high. That's the target over the next few months. Some interesting news coming up about Pulse Doge. Actually, there's been an update to their website, so we'll go over that in a minute. ASIC, not much to really report from last week. We're still in this consolidation pattern from where we were before. So that's kind of that is what it is. That might take a little while to progress. PulseBitcoin, let's have a look here. Oh, I really like this chart at the moment. PulseBitcoin has just formed a butterfly harmonic pattern. That's really bullish. Now, obviously, these are the points where the 30-day mining periods from the very start end. So you saw before, you kind of have a run up. It's a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event, right? So you had a run up there before. It'd be interesting to see if we try and break out of this downward wedge. I'd be looking at targets here of $2.71 and $3.75. And I think ASIC. I'm not sure what will lead the charge on this. It might be ASIC. It might be PulseBitcoin that makes the first move, but we'll see. I think that's enough coverage for now on the charts. I'll stop sharing the screen.
Yeah, that's good information. I think I've been in the markets for a while, and as soon as I see some green candles, I see a lot of bullishness from everyone and to the moon hype. But I also believe in market makers that manipulate. I always feel that they want those longs to accumulate, and looking at where those liquidation points are for shorts and longs is what they aim for. So if everyone's going bullish and we see a lot of Bitcoin longs getting put in, Ethereum longs, I wouldn't be surprised of a quick wick down before more moves up. I totally believe that that's possible. I do think that market makers do control the crypto market. That's their business model, is to liquidate the retail investor. And that's what trading is not recommended from anyone in our community, at least from what I know. I don't recommend trading. I recommend DCAing, holding, and buying. And if you had been for the last few months DCAing, you'd have a pretty good buy-in. And keeping your strategy away from going leveraged or anything like that would be my advice to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
so the numbers on the Bitcoin investment that really one of the things that made this move, there was a $4 billion inflow into Bitcoin, and it wicked out about $80 million of short leverage.
Wow. So
in liquidation.
Yeah. You can go to CoinGlass to see the liquidations. See how many.
That's a pretty big number. That's a good thing to see. That's a very good thing to see.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm looking at right now is last 24 hours, 726 million.
That $4 billion was from one investor, by the way. That wasn't just a total of $4 billion. That was a single investor that put $4 billion into Bitcoin.
That was shorting Bitcoin?
No, that longed Bitcoin.
Oh wow! And
puts the market up.
Wow, I see. Okay, so that's a pretty huge bet on the bull side.
Like I said, we didn't blow off top. We might not be blowing off on the bottom side either.
Yeah, and so we're not, as much as we're showing these charts and we're kind of showing this bullish news, we're not trying to call the bottom here. What we're saying is, it looks like it could potentially be a reversal point. It doesn't necessarily mean it will be, but it's just it's certainly encouraging. We're not trying to make long-term predictions here. We're just saying in the short to medium term, it's very bullish signal. A break of trend and a break of some significant patterns on the exterior market and on the crypto market. So that's what we're saying. And
definitely is exciting.
And obviously, we titled this episode "Why to Invest in a Bear Market." So as far as we know, we're still in a bear market. We might not be, but whether we're at the bottom or not, I think we'd all agree that we're certainly getting there, if we haven't already. So this is the time to start putting in some capital potentially. You should have really been DCAing on the way down anyway to get exposure and not trying to time the bottom, because you're never going to do it. Richard Hart might be able to, but well, he claims he might be able to, but not everyone could do that unless you're, super experienced. And it's just a risky way to trade. Why do it? Just slowly descend, get your cost basis down. We've got a chart here actually. So not a chart, a kind of diagram. So this is kind of where you want to be. Obviously, we see the kind of psychological levels here. Sorry, is that the right screen you can see there? Oh yeah. So you're kind of you're in the euphoria when everything's going great, and you get, I'm sure over the last year we can kind of look at this chart and kind of go, look, we've been through the anxiety stage, we definitely went through the denial stage, the double top, and not realizing we've bottomed. Already topped earlier in the year. We know all the fear, the desperation, the panic we all had, the FUD that's come out, capitulation. So it might look, so when you're kind of in anywhere these kind of states about the market, and you're not feeling hope and you're not feeling relief and optimism, that's really when you should be buying in. Trying to think. Oh, I do want to show this as well. So big shout out to Suave drawing my attention to this data. So this is some more bullish news. So we're looking at the total market cap again, right? Now, this is a weekly chart. Now, if you look down at the market cipher here, whenever we were oversold, let me take this banner off 1 second. Yeah, so whenever we were kind of oversold on the RSI on the weekly, it tended to be the end of the bear market there. It was a big buy signal. We went up for years. Same happened back here in December 18. We had a big buy signal that bottomed out, went oversold on the weekly and the RSI. And now look what's happened here. We've gone for the third time oversold on the weekly chart on the Ethereum. Sorry, on the total market cap. So that's potentially a really bullish sign. And he did send me one more, which I want to show. And this is the same thing with Ethereum chart. Exact same thing. As soon as we went oversold there on the RSI, on the weekly chart, we had a big run up. Same thing here again, big run up. So potentially, again, previous patterns don't necessarily mean a continuation of that pattern, but we can certainly, it's certainly a bullish kind of thing to look at. Do you want to take a quick break and play one of the vids? Then we'll come back.
Yeah, which, let's see here. You have one in mind?
Yeah, let's play it.
In a cold bear market, an innovation arises.
For the fighters and the climbers. For those that want and choose to believe. Don't worry about the things you can't control. Focus on the things that you can. Immutable code is all you need.
Pulse Bitcoin. Faster, non-polluting, energy efficient, highly scalable, and DeFi compatible.
Welcome to your destiny, ASIC miner.
Start your journey to generational wealth and hold on for the ride. Acquire PLSB and ASIC on CowSwap. Go to USDCPLSB.com and USDCASIC.com, featuring MEV bot protection, the most flexible way to DEX trade.
Cool.
All
Right. So I almost forgot. Thanks for reminding me, Sean. We want to quickly cover this. So this is the Bitcoin chart, and this shows the effect of halvening. So obviously PLSB, I mentioned before, we're coming up to our first halvening, which is estimated in April at the moment. So a lot of people are speculating on what that's going to do. I think a lot of people are dumping their PLSB, which we covered before. But when that happens, you're only going to get 50%. When that first halvening happens, you're only get 50% of your yield from your ASIC tokens. So I think suddenly that supply shock is really going to kind of make people realize the scarcity of PLSB. And if we look at what happened with the traditional Bitcoin halving effect, let's pop that up there. Okay, so I only put this in for the last two halvings, but if we see the first halving, which was in July of 2016, you saw that halving happen. You could argue that the market was anticipating it back in August, and you saw a run up, and then you kind of, once that hit, it's almost a mini buy the rumor, sell the news, some sideways action, and then we saw a 2,800 price increase. Now you could argue from the bottom it was more, but almost 4,000 when you go down the bottom. But anyway, it's very bullish. And then obviously the next one, which was roughly 4 years later, in May of 2020, just a little bit shorter than 4 years, and we had the next one, and we saw a run up of 685%. Again, you kind of saw, this one you actually saw a sell off before, and then you saw a nice run, but nonetheless you saw a nice run up. Sorry. That was the COVID dip, of course. Yeah, so that's a bit of a negative black swan event. So yeah, you probably would have seen continuation there otherwise. So who knows what?
400 days before each halving, it really bottomed, right? Somewhere around there.
Yeah. Roughly.
Well, yeah. So it looks like, yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to show that real quick.
So we're in that time frame now. We're really close to that time frame now.
Yeah.
This if it plays out the same, it makes sense. You started to have more adoption back then. There was more crypto back then, and than there was in the beginning of Bitcoin. So we're at about 400 days before the next halving, which is June of 24. So here we go. I mean, we might play into it all over again.
100%. And if you want to buy Pulse Bitcoin, you can do it at USDC PLSB.com. That will take you straight through to CalSwap. I'm just going to show you now quickly. We recommend CalSwap because you've got less chance of a MEV attack. So if you type in USDC PLSB, that'll take you straight through to CalSwap, and that will already load up the contract for you. So you don't have to find it, and you connect your wallet, and you can exchange directly there. And if you want to mine, you can go to USDC ASIC.com, and that will take you to direct link to the ASIC version of that, which I haven't got loaded, I'm afraid. And then that means you can mine with your ASIC, and then you can go straight into the Pulse Bitcoin dApp, which is here. Click mine at the top. You have to connect your wallet, and then you can put in the amount of ASIC tokens you want to mine with. And at the moment, because we're in halving 0, up until April, you'll be able to get 7.5% of that amount. So if you had 1,000 ASIC tokens, you'll be able to get 7.5% of that in yield. Not paid in the same token, which is a negative headwind, but actually paid in a fresh token, which is also deflationary. Well, yeah, but eventually it will be deflationary. So that's how you do that.
Deflationary component to it.
Yeah, sorry, deflationary component there.
We'll see how much we can ramp that up and see what kind of happens.
Yeah, but it certainly has.
You should also take a look at the Pulse Dogecoin website. There's a update. Yeah,
of course. Yeah. So I've got some notes on this. So it looks like Pulse Doge wasn't getting a lot of love the last few weeks because everyone's eyes were on the new tokens in the ecosystem. But I want to do a shout out to Ungebius, one of our admins. He actually drew our attention to this and made some nice notes here for us. So the website is now under maintenance. So it looks like he's simplified and taken a lot of stuff out. So he's taken a lot of distribution stuff out and all the old stuff that new people aren't really interested in anymore. But it looks like he's changed some copy. So with an ever shrinking maximum supply on Ethereum and a future copy on Pulse Chain, this is the most scarce meme coin to hold ever in the history of crypto. And then there's some interesting bits here because he made use of language by saying, notice he made sort of say ever shrinking maximum supply. So even though the transform phase is over, that ended over a month ago, right? Where you could exchange that for ASIC, and we saw the tokens get burned by 56%. He's now hinting that potentially there may be another burn. Who knows? So that's interesting. And also, if we go to, is it the white paper? Yes, the white paper. If you see here, he's done white paper version 1, which was the original white paper. And now look, there's a space here for a second white paper. So that's kind of interesting. So we saw the market respond to that. We saw PulseDoge go and pump on this news, which was interesting. So I think anyone that kind of thought PulseDoge was sitting in the corner unloved, I think that's not entirely correct. So will there be any future utility? He says maybe is Hexinfo's own words there. Yeah. So thanks, Anjibus, for that. Is there anything else you want to show on this website? I mean, I haven't been through it properly, but
I haven't been through it. I'll definitely recommend everyone go through their own, do their own research when they're looking through these websites. But I also wanted to mention, PulseBitcoin Lock. That is a new contract that allows people to create an NFT and lock up their PulseBitcoin for a certain amount of days, up to 10,000. And that is a pretty interesting proof of promise, I guess you could say, method. It also allows you to gift people PulseBitcoin without having to worry about them selling on top of it. So for contests, Wolverine's, contest, if this was out, he could have minted a few NFTs and then gifted it to someone knowing that it's locked. They're not going to be able to unlock it. So it does provide a much more valuable description and use case for an NFT, just like the ATM miner was. In my opinion, like you could create that ATM miner and you could sell that. It has actual value, similar to like an HSI. But going back to PulseBitcoin, you can create whatever image, lock up your PulseBitcoin, choose how long you want it to be locked up for. And you can also choose to, I believe if you go back to the settings, it will give you a few options there if it's transferable or non-transferable. And that means that you can't sell it. It's stuck in your wallet. So interesting. I think everyone should just try it, maybe with a half or a 1 or something, make some kind of lockup time on a PulseBitcoin just to try it out.
Yeah, and, a lot of people have done that. A lot of people have done that actually, and it takes you to OpenSea where you can view them all. So
Wolverine did, what was it,
180,000 for $1,000
worth of PulseBitcoin.
Wow.
And he wrote it's not how much PulseBitcoin you make with ASIC or how much you buy it on USDC PLSB.com. It's how much PulseBitcoin you keep, how hard it works for you in a dormant wallet, and how many generations you keep it for. So that's pretty cool. And we saw someone else come in here.
This is a really good tool to get people to gift, to guarantee the future for others to use as in a variety of ways. It just is pretty neat. The fact that it's not generating anything other than preservation is pretty cool. Right.
Yeah, I agree.
Pretty cool. And it just shows that people in this ecosystem are serious about buying and holding.
Exactly.
Bitcoin is something where, yes, you want to take some profits. Start DCAing out in the top of the next bull run, the same way that you were DCA'd in. But you certainly want to be keeping a lot of that as well, locked in for future, for future bull markets. That's what I'd say. Is you don't want to be the guy like in the first Bitcoin bull run that sold his. What was the first bull run top? Was it $200 or something like that? But you don't want to be that guy that sold your whole bag at $200 and then is kicking himself, because he didn't hold any at all. Fine, take some profits, but I think the idea here is that if you've got a small percentage of your bag that you think, do you know what, I want to keep that for maybe 2 bull runs or 3 bull runs, then it's an option for you. You don't have to do a large amount.
And you can choose to mint the NFT to your wallet automatically. That's how it works, the default.
Right.
but you can also choose to mint to another wallet. So instead of you having to mint the NFT and then send it to someone else, you could literally set it up, get their wallet address, mint the NFT, choose how long you want to lock it up, and send it directly to them immediately. And so then their wallet will have that NFT, and however many days that you choose, it is locked up. I believe they'll have to come back to the Pulse Bitcoin lock to claim that Pulse Bitcoin. Is that how it works?
You gotta burn it. They gotta go back
burn it.
Yeah, it says when your lock period is up, you can then choose to burn your NFT and get your PLSP tokens back. When that time comes, you can also choose to delay burning your NFT as long as you want with no penalty.
Right.
Also, before the lock period is over, it's impossible to burn the NFT and get your coins back. So, that's impossible. So once you've locked it, you're kind of committed to it.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you do want some flexibility and you do want to make a commitment, but you want the flexibility, then I guess someone could lock it up, but make it transferable. So if you really, really needed it, you're able to sell it on OpenSea or OTF. You could say, hey, can you give me this much for this NFT? I'll send it to you. If you have someone that you can trust like that.
And it's a great birthday gift or Christmas gift, rather than just sending someone some money. I mean, that's what I like to do now. I like to send people a little bit of PLSP for their birthday that aren't in the ecosystem. I know my friend in the chat, Brian, does that a lot with Hex, and it's a great onboarding tool. It gets people interested. And it's a nice way to not just give them the Pulse Bitcoin, give them a nice bit of artwork with a nice message there, and they can unlock it in a year or something, Right,
exactly. And so for the next birthday, they can cash out if they want.
Exactly, yeah.
So, very
Pretty
cool.
cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if there's anything else you guys want to cover. I'm going to probably do a shorter show today than we usually do. Oh, we do have a question here.
Exponentially that if you're asking about the audit on the NFT lock, the answer is no. It just was released, if I'm not mistaken. But Pulse Bitcoin has been audited, full on audit. It's on the website. Go check it out.
Well, Pulse Bitcoin lock, I think, has been internally audited by some devs that are in the community.
That is.
And so
Pulse Police, was it, or USDC vet? I think it's okay.
I think it's USDC vet. Yeah.
It's
CG vet.
So I'm saying USDC. I got USDC on the mind.
People look at it. He said the code's good. Everyone said the code's good, but officially, it hasn't had a third-party audit.
Yeah, the founder probably is working on it. Bear market costs, everything like that. I can imagine, but I think that I saw Wolverine.
Pulse Bitcoin's absolutely been audited, third-party audited, which the old Bitcoin has not been. And you can find that on the website.
Exactly. I also saw something that we're appearing to have a CertiK audit on, I think, one of the coin websites, which is great. So, definitely.
Let's before we go, let's gear a little bit more towards just the fundamentals of investing in a bear market and kind of where we are in general.
Yeah.
I think it's really important because we're all kind of sitting around. We're all waiting for a big launch to happen. We've had some big launches now. We're all, trying to figure out a strategy. We've got this copy coming potentially. And at the end of the day, I think one of the most important things we can do is to not try to be better than the market, not try to outsmart the market, I think is what I'm trying to say. Have a plan that you stick to. Don't stare at it all day. Go do your life. Go live your life. Go do your thing. But have a plan to dollar cost average into whatever your planned investments are over the course of the next. And listen, this is what I'm doing. This is what these guys are doing. I mean, do what you want, but investing in bear markets. This is how the wealthy, not the rich, the wealthy have become wealthy because they stuck in there and they really only truly made major investments during bear markets. They were sellers during bull markets. They were buyers during bear markets. We're talking Rockefellers. We're talking, elite multi-billionaires. This is what they've done for decades and decades and generations. So we all come from like a ecosystem that really does understand buying and holding, delayed gratification. There's a variety of ways that we can all, talk about that. But, from stake hex for a 15 or for the NFTs for Pulse Bitcoin, and do whatever you want with it for however long you want with it, and hold on to it. I think if people really start to grasp the fact that we're close to the end of the bear market, if we've not been there, and if you haven't been DCAing in, and if you haven't been buying into the bear market, which is something that a lot of us have been talking about to a lot of people for a long time, at least for the last like 6 to 9 months, I would be a little nervous about missing it. I would be I would actually be a little stressed right now, because if you're trying to time the market and you're trying to catch some bottom and you're not really in that much, I would be buying now, waiting for these dips to pull back. We don't know if these dips are really going to happen or not. And if they do, great, buy more and just take it for what it is, and just expect that eventually, the cycles will change. We're going to get regulatory FUD, like I've been saying for months. That FUD's going to be an opportunity to buy in the bear market. Whatever we get, whatever Nexo goes under, whatever happens. At the end of the day, just remember one thing. It's an opportunity. That's what it's going to be. Next few years coming out of here is going to be something that's going to change our lives. And just stay strong. Just stay strong. Stay vigilant in your path.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is where the cheap prices are. It's crypto in a way is a leverage position on the traditional market position. It's more highly volatile, but people forget. If you kind of invested, like some of us did, not fully understanding market cycles, and you bought in at the start of this downtrend, and now you've got some more capital, I'd say now is a good time to lower your average cost. If you spent X amount on 1,000 tokens 6 months ago, that same $1,000 is going to get you probably 6 times, 10 times more tokens now. So don't be disheartened. Don't kind of feel like your things have been burned. I would say DCA responsibly, not financial advice, but certainly DCA in and get those lower coins. Yeah, have a plan. And when everyone's feeling low in the dumps, that's really the time to buy. We can't say it enough.
Absolutely.
And
it's all psychological.
But also not don't invest in anything. Obviously, you've got to do your due diligence and invest in something with no admin keys. Don't give your money away to a third party or a middleman. Take it off the centralized exchange. Stick it in a private wallet, MetaMask, at the very minimum. And then when you're talking about more than $1,000, you really want to look at upgrading your security, getting a ledger, taking responsibility for your money, because you're not relying on a bank. You're not relying on a centralized exchange that might crash at any minute because they're out lending you money irresponsibly. This is real crypto. This is DeFi. And we honestly believe that DeFi will lead the charge in this next bull run. 100%.
Hey, something on the security side. This past week, we all have heard, or if you haven't, we're going to tell you now, there's this thing called a poisoning attack. So do not copy from your transaction history. Do not copy your...
Yeah, so do you want to explain how that works? CR brought that up, one of our admins in the chat last night. Do you want to explain how that works?
Just someone uses a dummy account where they make a goat. It's like they can literally fabricate an address that looks like yours, and they send you nothing, but there's now listen. I mean,
it'll show up in your recent transaction history, won't it? What they'll do is they'll look at your wallet on the
wallet,
and they'll say, okay,
they're putting your address in there. Yeah. And people just go to transaction history and copy from that. Don't do it when you're on the MetaMask at the very top. You can just copy it right to your clipboard. Just copy right from the very, very top of MetaMask. That's your address. Or take a notepad in your phone, or take whatever and just put your address in there. I'm not saying put your seed phrase in there. Just put your address in there. This is a whitelisted, non-connected to the Web3 list of your hot addresses that you use. Right. Yeah. And there's also features where you can have your address book locked in your MetaMask and in different, if you do use exchanges or whatever, wherever you really use, where you have address books, and those are guaranteed where nothing can go there except for those addresses. So just be really vigilant. No one should be using anything out of their transaction history, and just do things like you're doing it for the first time every time. Go through a very meticulous process every single time. No shortcuts. This is your money. Security is the most important thing. No shortcuts, right? Step by step, one step at a time. Every time I move, I take my actual address from my MetaMask and I put it in, and I do that, and I double check the beginning and I double check the end.
And also double check the middle, because what these guys are doing is they're creating wallet addresses. So they're looking at your wallet on Etherscan, and you might have, let's say you have 3 accounts. So they're kind of going, oh, this guy's sending, he seems to have 2 other accounts, and these are the addresses he seems to transfer funds between. So what they're doing is they're being smart, and they're getting addresses that look almost similar, the same start numbers and the same end numbers and letters of one of your common addresses. So what you want to do is, I'd say nickname at least your wallets. You can add a nickname in MetaMask, and then go through, check the beginning, check the middle, and check the end. I mean, if you have time, really you should have time. You should always not rush with these things. Just double check that address before you send any money to yourself.
Yeah, but that's if you're taking it out of the transaction history. You're copying it from there, which you should never do in the first place. Yeah. If you just never copy out of the transaction history, then you don't have anything to worry about, if you know what your address is. Right?
Yeah, copy it from like the copy symbol right at the top of your MetaMask.
The middle of the app is
right.
Yeah. And I think CR told us, I think this attack was a new attack. It only came out, I think, maybe in August or something. And it's getting more and more popular. And
I think it's like over a couple million.
I think like $3 million or something has been lost.
It's going to be small, because I don't think a lot of people are actually hitting their transaction history to pull those addresses out of there. I mean, I was like, they're doing what? I had no clue, And Levy's right. Use Ledger. Get your coins into a cold wallet if you can. Just listen. Just remember something. That's got its own security issue. If you lose that, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And if you got all your passwords, your seed words on a piece of paper in your house, what happens if your house burns down? Have you thought about that? So you want to
have a fireproof safe, one of those small fireproof safes you can buy.
Yeah. You don't want to be in a position where you've had something horrible, like you're away for a couple of weeks, come back, there's been a horrible house fire, which is terrible enough in its way, with losing all your belongings. The last thing you want to do is have lost all your crypto too. So, put it on some metal, put it under some floorboards. So at least the house down, you can go in and grab your money.
Shieldfolio.com is actually it's like a very thin metal book that you can just inscribe it on. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's like a stamping thing.
You have to get those on the Ledger website as well. They're really highly recommended.
Yeah, I don't recommend getting the.
You guys like Ledger or Treasure better?
I personally started off with Ledger, and I just find it easy. But I do believe the Trezor's a bit better, I've been told, for security.
I'm using the same Ledger that I bought in 2017. I have not changed the device. It's the same one. It works perfect. Yeah. But it's the Nano S, which they don't sell anymore. So it's a very simple mechanical one. Now the new ones have like Bluetooth, and they have like digital screens, and I've heard more issues with the new ones than the old ones. So I did buy a few backups when you could get them for dirt cheap, and now you can't buy them at Ledger. They don't sell them anymore. So
and they're coming out with those like little mini handheld phone size ones now. You saying they got some problems?
Yeah, see, like Libby posted like a bank lockbox. I'm not personally. I wouldn't recommend it, because now you're giving someone a third party access. If they open that bank lockbox,
you can actually those can be subpoenaed.
Done.
So
I mean, I think a lot of us are concerned about banks, and that's why we kind of get into crypto. So I personally,
I would rather trust a hole in my vacuum. Perfect timing.
So what was the page? Life is Good is asking, what was the name of that metal page folio you were talking about?
Shield folio.
Yield folio.
Shield folio.
Shield.
Shield folio.
shield. Like,
you can also get them on the Ledger site as well. They might be a little bit more expensive, I'm not sure, but Ledger's got a few good ones where you kind of get a metal thing and you just stamp them in, or they've got the screw system where you can they're a bit cheaper. And finally, always have multiple wallets. You know, if you've got more than $1,000, you get a second, you know, have 3 wallets. I know it's a little bit of a pain in the ass, but wouldn't you rather lose a third of your money, or would you rather lose all of it? You know, it's as simple as that. And the most people that get hacked, they get hacked by doing something silly. Like every time they go to the PulseBitcoin dApp, instead of saving it as a favorite in their bookmarks, they type it in manually, and it only takes 1 letter in that address to be incorrect, and then you have a fake. One of our admins actually.
We messed up a tweet or something where we've got, like I've said, you know, instead of son, or some, you know, 1 wrong letter, you know. Careful.
Yeah.
This is a funny one. Also, watch 70 spy movies to learn interesting and different ways of how to hide your seed.
That's great.
It's not a bad idea to back it up in a couple places, you know, if you can.
I'm just going to copy that. So here's the link. I'm just posting it here to that website. I haven't verified it. So do your due diligence.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, one more thing. Vinluck has created a store. So, you know, one thing we do lack is merch.
Some gear. Show it off. Get yourself some gear. PulseBitcoin.store.
I'll put that in there.
You got any baby stuff? Infant, newborn?
I can get some. I haven't, you know, I've got some toddler, some little guy stuff, but you got a little one coming, so I'll get a little. I'll put some baby stuff up there for you.
Cool. Yeah, definitely love to show off the baby with some PulseBitcoin gear.
Get some onesies and some little some stuff like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, thanks. I think that's about it. That's about an hour, guys. I think we'll wrap it up. Unless anyone has anything else they want to mention.
And
all right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and we'll do our best to be here next week.
Awesome.
You guys, everyone, take care. Talk to you later.
Take care, all. Let's
Take
stop
care.
sharing the screen.
Good luck, everybody.
Less money at their disposal.
Latest
Inflation's up.
Life is hard, with rising inflation and a soaring cost of living. Bitcoin was a way to escape this, but now Bitcoin is dying. When Bitcoin started, you could use a laptop to mine it with just a few clicks. Now, Bitcoin has been hijacked by big money, making it impossible for the average user to make life-changing wealth. It's slow, it's outdated, and expensive. The world needs a better Bitcoin. The future is here, and the future is PulseBitcoin. Faster, more secure, non-polluting, and DeFi compatible. Old Bitcoin mining requires expensive mining rigs and costly energy bills, making it almost pointless. With PulseBitcoin, you can software mine by staking your ASIC tokens, utilizing proof-of-stake technology on the Ethereum network. It's so easy to participate. Simply buy the ASIC token on Uniswap, then go to pulsebitcoin.app and set them to mine for 30 days. You'll earn 7.5% of the token amount in PulseBitcoin every 30 days. Don't want to mine? Easy. Simply buy PulseBitcoin on the open market and hold it as a powerful store of value. You are so early. This ecosystem is packed with tokenomics designed to drive the price up. Pay your future self by participating in the most aggressive, price-appreciating ecosystem in existence. A decentralized peer-to-peer Bitcoin, the way crypto was always meant to be. Go to pulsebitcoin.com. It's time for a better Bitcoin. It's time to make life-changing wealth.